It's book review time. For the first time on this channel actually, so yeah, let's open it. Nice eco-friendly paper. Okay, so since this is my first book review ever and I'm only giving myself 2 days of time because I want to get this out fast. Don't do this at home. And I'm not trying to narrate the whole book back to you. I'm just giving my opinion as a minimalist, what I think about this piece of literature, should you buy it, who is it for, and does it give you a nice warm feeling? First impression. This is a really pretty book. It's well made. It has a beautiful choice of font and layout. Also, she basically chose my favorite colors, as in mustard yellow. To the ones who think this is just going to be a big fat ad for this book and I'm super biased, well, I actually was biased when I bought this book, but in a different way. As in, I was thinking, I really hope there's no celery stuff in there because I see the whole celery movement pretty critical and I just don't like it when influencers give medical advice, especially if they don't have a degree in any sort of medical field. I really like science. So I was actually going through this like, is there a celery shake recipe? Where's the celery shake? No shake? Nice. Let's start with the basics though. Who do I think this book is for? Well, I would say it's for the beginner minimalist. I think the target age group is between 18 and 32 or something. People who haven't figured out their adult shit yet, who are in a way almost feeling like they want companionship. And Youheum is being that kind of companion to you in this book. So if you're struggling, if you're feeling behind in life and you just really want to change something, this book will give you a good, nice mood, something to read and something to do. And before you're being like, I'm 50 and I like the book. Yeah, I didn't say it was not for people who are 50, but in general, this kind of struggle is pretty classic for 20-somethings. What I find really interesting is that this book actually starts off very, very personal. It starts off with her journey and her story and how she struggled with consumption and spending money and just feeling lost in life. And I really think that the story that she's sharing has a lot of value, especially if you are a follower of your YouTube channel and you just know these pictures already and you feel like, I want to know more about this person. I want to hear it written with her own voice and in her own words. I think then you will really like and enjoy this book. And then it kind of morphs into more of an advice kind of book with a lot of practice tips. And she also always had that in her videos, as in these bullet point lists and just giving you an overview or a summary of a topic. And I think if you like that style in the videos already, like this connection of something deeply personal, but then some sort of general advice to the viewer, then you're also going to like this book. The book is divided into 4 parts, which I think the images also stand for in a way: mindfulness, sustainability, minimalism, and wellness. And I think that this is a very intelligent choice of categories. I mean, it just fits. It's like all you need to make your life happier and more fulfilled. And as she always says, like, live in the abundance, I think, right? So what can you expect from these 4 different parts? So after the introduction of her personal journey, after that she basically goes into these 4 pillars of healing: minimalism, sustainability, wellness, and mindfulness. So the first chapter is about minimalism, and I'm not going to comment too much on that because I've been doing this for so long. It would be unfair, you know, if I would read this and I would be like, well, old news, like, that's just mean. I'm not going to do that. So I think it's very good for you if you are in the early stages of your minimalism journey, or if you didn't even get started yet. That is like perfect for you. That's a good book for you then. And it's pretty. She has all these nice images in there from her own pretty minimalist apartment and her things. So if you like that kind of Instagram aesthetic, yeah. But let me give you an example of how I think this book can be helpful. For instance, here's this list. It's called Personalized Minimalism on page 45. List 5 words that you associate with tidiness and spaciousness. Let's do this. 5 words that I associate with tidiness and spaciousness. Calming, beautiful, freeing, easy, fulfilling. There we go. What is your definition of minimalism? Well, I have a whole blog entry on that, so this is my definition of minimalism. Do you think minimalism can be applied to different areas of life? Hell yeah, it can. If so, in which other areas can minimalism improve your life? Every area. Minimalism is good for everything. It's awesome. Yeah, and there are many more questions like this, and I think it's really helpful to get in touch with yourself if you are willing to do that kind of work. Because this kind of self-help book is not going to just magically motivate you to get out of your rut and be a changed person. And I think she also describes this in her personal journey. Like, the only thing that I personally disagree with is that kind of being gentle with yourself, giving yourself the time. That's just not the message of me and my channel, but it's the message of her channel. So I think it's perfectly in line with her message, and that's just her thing. My thing is more like rip off the band-aid, get it over with, and, just throw all your stuff out in a sustainable way, of course. But, that's like more how I would do it and how I recommend it to anyone. And she is more like, do it gently, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. So I think if you're looking for that kind of gentle and nice approach, this is a good book for you, especially when it comes to minimalism. The next chapter is about sustainability, and I think it's also perfect for beginners because it introduces you to all aspects of sustainability in a very gentle way, without judgment and being like, hey, you're not sustainable, stop ruining our planet. It's more about introducing aspects of sustainability and just things you can do. And it's basically a huge, big list of things that you can do to live a more eco-friendly lifestyle. And there's one thing that reminded me a little bit of like one of these women's magazines where you get a psychological test or something and you can see like, am I jealous? It's called Sustainability Self-Evaluation. It consists of 28 questions that help you find out, are you a tree murderer or a tree hugger? If you want to know my score, you have to comment below that I should do it, and then I will totally do that. Anyway, I find it nice, and it speaks to how non-judgmental this book actually is, how she interprets the score. Like, the lowest score, 0 to 10, is like, you're new to sustainability. How friendly is that? In my book, it would be like, you suck, stop ruining the planet. But she's so nice. She's not even not in the slightest is this book judgmental. And if you're a snowflake and you really feel threatened by people telling you what to do or giving you a bad feeling about your lifestyle, this book is perfect for you, because after that you will come out and you feel okay about yourself, but still feel like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that and I can be better, but not like, shit, I really have to do something. Oh, I suck. Like, no, if you need that, this is the book for you. And then if you're like pretty good, you get kudos. You get like, you're already actively sustainable. Like, in my book, this would be like, you rock, you're awesome. But yeah, she's very calm and she always like, chill. Then another helpful thing is like the low waste swaps. And I also appreciate that she says low waste and not zero waste, because there is no zero and zero waste. That's a scam and I don't like it. So another thing that I appreciate is that she doesn't mix in medical terms, and she is really just giving general advice, and it's helpful and okay advice. There is a healthy diet planner, and it's just asking general questions so you can find out what's like nourishing and good for you. And just ask yourself some questions like, you want to be eating more organic and just maybe not eat so many animals, just stuff like that. And it's good for just doing a check-in with your habits. Now let's go to the wellness part. I want to show you how big the several chapters are, just so you can get like an impression how much it makes up of the book. So the introduction is all of this. The biggest part here is this is the minimalism part. And then we have a wellness, and the last part is mindfulness. So I would say the biggest part of the book is minimalism and then mindfulness, which I think is really cool. I think the wellness part would better be titled self-care. I don't know why she called it wellness. I think wellness for me, I associate that with just going to a spa and having a nice time. I think that self-care is a better description of what this chapter is about. And again, you will find helpful checklists like this is called life energy balance. I'm more of an expert when it comes to the energy of photons, but this is about doing basically a check-in with yourself. Like, do you feel sluggish and tired, or what makes you feel refreshed? What is draining to you? That is one of the main questions that I had to myself and that I couldn't answer, because as a nurse, I was working in a hospital. I always felt tired. I always felt drained. And I was asking myself, where does the energy come from? How do I get out of this feeling? I feel so tired all the time. And then I started training for a half marathon, and I was so surprised that my life's energy came from actually doing something that was even more strenuous than work sometimes. How does that work with energy conservation? This is like a perpetuum mobile. It was crazy to me at the time, but today it makes a lot of sense to me, because if you nurture your muscle growth, you will just feel more energetic because you'll be stronger. Just this little short story from my life here. So this really speaks to me, because I remember that I was having such a hard time with answering these questions for me. And it's important that you get in touch with that kind of stuff and just, have a little sit down and a talk with yourself sometimes. And last but not least, she goes into mindfulness practice. And I honestly wish this chapter would be longer, because there's so much more to say. And she is a student of Thich Nhat Hanh's, someone whose work I really appreciate as well. And I think, if you, after this book, if you feel like, I want to read more, just read some of his books. And she is getting into what mindfulness is, some practices, and a lot of checklists and evaluation lists again. And I think she is making good points and giving you something to work with. If you're a total beginner, this is going to be the right start for you. This is just going to be inspiring and maybe kicking off your mindfulness journey and, just helping you to get into it. But for me, I'm like an advanced practitioner. I do yoga, I meditate, I have my own guided medication. Yeah, I have my own guided meditation coming out at some point. So for me, I would love to read more on her personal practice. And I think she totally has the expertise to dig deeper into mindfulness. And yeah, I think there's a lot of value in this chapter. Let me just give you a quick example. This is basically a self-check-in. Again, it's called Mindless Energy Analysis. It's a list of questions, and here are some examples. When do you feel most mindless? What are you usually doing when you are unaware and unconscious of your actions? When do you feel most pressured? When do you feel most overwhelmed? When do you feel most distracted? This goes to all the situations when you just start checking out and your mind is wandering off, because that is what happens when you're stressed. And meditation and mindfulness practice helps with that, helps with reducing that stress and being more in the present moment. These are good exercises and good questions to ask yourself. And yeah, we're finished with my review. So, do I recommend this book? Actually, yes. If you're a beginner and you're just getting into this kind of stuff, this is a good book for you. This is a good starting point. The 4 aspects of it, I think it's very well made. Just organizing it in that way with the 4 different chapters or aspects of healing. I think it's nice to read her personal story, to learn about her struggles, because that is very relatable. And I also think that it's a very practical and hands-on book, and I like these lists formats. Some might say, well, it's a little bit dull and, it's just not an in-depth thing. But, really, I think we don't need more of these lengthy books that just are paragraphs over paragraphs over paragraphs of theorizing over things like mindfulness. If you want that, all these books already exist. That is not what this book is. This is more like a hands-on approach. It's very digestible, very relatable, and also it's very positive. So yeah, this was it. Let me know what you think. Are you buying this book? Do you like it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.